So have you ever felt like you're just totally invisible online? Like you're putting out all this amazing content and it's just disappearing? Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down how to turn your small account into your biggest, most powerful strength. Let's dive in.
Yeah, does this feel a little too familiar? You pour your heart and soul into a post, you hit publish, and you hear crickets. It is such a common and honestly a deeply frustrating feeling. But I want you to know you're not alone in this, and it's definitely not a sign that your content is bad. It's just a sign that it hasn't found its people. Yet.
And this right here, this is the core idea we're going to unpack. We need to completely reframe how you're looking at your account size. Because being small isn't a weakness, I promise you. It's a huge strategic advantage. It lets you build this powerful, solid foundation that those massive accounts can only dream of having.
So what is this secret weapon exactly? It's the power of making deep, real connections. You see, while the huge accounts are just broadcasting to a massive, faceless crowd, you get to have actual conversations. And that right there is the real key to sustainable, meaningful growth.
Okay, let's start with what I call the outward game. This is all about how you get noticed by the right people and how you send the right signals to the algorithm. Look, it's not about trying to shout louder than everyone else. It's about learning to speak clearly in the right rooms.
And here is the single most important shift in thinking you can make. The goal isn't to reach millions of people with some generic tag. No way. It's about finding that cozy little corner of the internet where your people are already hanging out. Using niche hashtags basically tells the algorithm, hey, this content is for these people, which is an incredibly powerful signal.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Using a tag like #baking, that's like dropping a single grain of sand on an entire beach. Poof, you're gone in a second. But something like #1950s recipes? Whoa, now you're in a specific, passionate conversation with other enthusiasts. You're not just visible anymore, you're actually valuable.
But here's the trick. You can't just post and run. You have to become a good neighbor in these communities. Spend just 15 minutes a day. That's it, hanging out in those niche tags. And instead of leaving a comment like, great pick, ask a real question or share a related experience. This is how you build a reputation, it's how you build reciprocity, and it makes people naturally curious to see what you're all about.
All right, so you're showing up in the right places, you're getting noticed. Fantastic. Now we shift to the inward game. Once you've got their attention, how do you make sure they actually remember you? This is all about building a brand that feels authentic, recognizable, and frankly, trustworthy.
Now, when I say consistency, I don't mean being boring or robotic. Not at all. It's about creating a reliable, professional-feeling home for your audience. When they see your content in their feed, they should instantly know, oh, that's from them, even before they see your name. It just makes you feel dependable.
And you know what? Creating that consistency is so much simpler than you think. This little blueprint right here takes all the guesswork out of it. Just pick 3 core colors, 2 consistent fonts, one for your headlines, one for the main text, and then define your tone of voice with just a few key words. Are you warm, witty, super practical? This simple guide ensures every single thing you post feels cohesive and intentionally you, and that builds recognition over time.
But the deepest, most powerful way to be authentic isn't just about how things look. It's about storytelling. Look, anybody can share generic tips, but only you can share your personal experience. The failures, the struggles, that messy middle part of the journey, that's what creates a real human connection.
So I really want you to think about this. What's the one conflict, the one journey, the one messy failure that only you can share with the world? That story right there is your most unique and valuable piece of content. It's what makes you relatable, and maybe more importantly, it makes you unforgettable.
And finally, let's talk about the long game. Because let's be real, none of this matters if you burn out in 6 months. To really survive and thrive as a creator, you have to protect your energy and your mental health. This is not optional. It's actually the core of the whole strategy.
Please forget the hustle culture narrative. Being always on is the fastest way to quitting, period. Real, sustainable growth is built on a foundation of intentional rest. Trust me, your best ideas and your most authentic content will come when you are recharged, not when you're running on fumes.
So how do you actually do it? Well, this 3-part strategy is like your shield against burnout. First, content batching. This completely removes that daily, what do I post pressure? Second, scheduled engagement.
that 15 minutes we talked about. This sets clear boundaries so you're not just mindlessly scrolling all day. And finally, a regular digital detox. This is non-negotiable time away to refill your creative well.
Which brings us to our final and honestly our most crucial point. The most valuable metric you have is not your follower count. It's not your likes, it's not your reach, it's the number one. It represents the one-to-one trust you build with each individual person in your community. That right there, that is your true, powerful, and completely unfair advantage. Build that, and you've already won the game.